We're here to have a conversation about mental health and wellness in our LGBTQ plus community. I do want to share a little bit about why this subject is really important to me. I have a queer teenager that I affectionately call a queer me-nager, and I also actually live with depression and anxiety. And we're working together on better mental health outcomes, and it's been a journey. Let's jump right into it. Can you share your mental health story and how has it changed over time?
I am bipolar as well as I have ADHD. And I've been undiagnosed with those issues for most of my life. And it was just a very difficult journey for me to find myself and to figure out, my diagnosis and how to work with them instead of, kind of living in chaos, mental chaos constantly. Once I got the help that I needed, my life turned around so rapidly.
I feel like similarly, I went undiagnosed for a long period of my life and just being like, why are things so hard? Why are things so hard over and over again? Um, and turns out underneath the depression and anxiety was undiagnosed autism and ADHD, which is treated way differently than just depression and anxiety.
When we bring in all the points of who we are and our intersectionality, what are some stigmas that we've had to work through?
So I was born in Cuba and then I immigrated to America when I was 8 years old. And Cuban, as a Caribbean person, mental health was like non-existent. And for the longest time I thought I was alone because I didn't talk to anybody because everybody else was like, oh, we don't feel like that. So that's just a you thing.
I think in terms of like queer folks, everyone has like multiple identities, right? So in terms of like if you are queer, Black, how you experience queerness and what mental health looks like for you is going to be really different from someone who is queer and white.
I think there's a lot of shame that comes with being, again, person of color, immigrant, etc. We're not allowed to really feel weak emotions because it's always kind of been a they. Like if you have enough mental fortitude, then you should be able to get past things. So it's better to pretend that mental health struggles don't exist.
What are some simple ways that we can help each other or ways that you've been helped to take care of your mental health?
First of all, don't listen to those voices in your head that will fool you into thinking that this situation is only happening to you, and that you're the only person who's ever going through this.
I think acknowledging nuance of experiences is very important. So, for example, me and Rihanna have very different, we may have similar issues. We both have autism and depression. However, they come from very different places and have to be acknowledged in different places. A lot of mine stems from bullying as a child, but also the trauma of adoption, being a person of color, being a trans person of color, etc. It's not always acknowledged, but there's other factors such as that.
You have to figure out what works for you. I think in the past I used to treat it as I need to get over this hurdle and then it'll be fine. But that leads to punishing yourself when it doesn't go that way. When you try and it's still there.
Something I would share outside of therapy, I do take my medication daily. That's really important to me and has been a game changer. But I needed to podcast, music, other forms of storytelling, kind of like I think what we're getting at today. I spend time with my friends and people I'm in community with. I think about all the laughs that we shared together, joy, and really trying to balance all of that out with the day-to-day challenges as well.
That's why I think conversations like this are really important, because it's good to normalize things.
All queer people come from a shared trauma. We all do come from this shared trauma of not fitting into the society that we live in and being rejected in many ways by family, friends, society in general, does help you have some comfort in knowing that you aren't alone, to Laz's point, and having people that you can really share and confide in and that actually understand your experience is really, really valuable. And it's also really important to share resources with each other and point each other in the right direction, because I think especially when you're really struggling with mental health, it's really hard to see those resources because you feel so alone and you feel like you don't have access to things. And I think a lot of times there's more access than you might think in those situations.
I acknowledge that I am nothing without my community, and I would not be here without these conversations, without my friends, without the people around me who allow me to talk about these emotions. But I would still be a fractional person like I was before.
To that extent, I just want to say that I'm grateful to you, Laz. Laz and I lived together when we were both going through a really challenging period in our lives, and I felt like we were just both a light to each other and really helped us get through that challenging time. And I just really appreciate you. I think it's important for us to share our story. Being able to have these conversations and just being able to share in your daily life as much as you can, as much as you're comfortable doing, is really, really valuable to bring us together and give us some solidarity.